You're going to start from question number 7, like the count Wednesday's question.
Yes, we'll be starting from question number 7. And so, anyone from you guys would like to explain about how to solve question number 7?
The I can say the method I used.
Yeah, sure.
You simply open an Excel file. You take two cells. You put in the dates into the both cells, and
Yes.
then you simply put in the command that helps you find out the differences between those two dates. Mean how many days
Uh-huh.
passed between these 2 days, and you simply divide it by 7. It actually just gives you the amount of weeks which has passed, and you can say each week there is one Wednesday, so that many Wednesdays have also passed.
All right. So, in my case, what is happening here? So, for example, this particular date is starting from Tuesday. Okay. So, instead of starting from Tuesday, what I can do, I can start from the next day. Instead of starting from this particular date, I will start from the next date, and then what I will have uh, 29 November 19. So then I will have 30 November 1983, and from there I will count how many days are there, and then I will do a division by 7, and that would get me the number of weeks. So if this day starts from some other day, for example, if it starts from Monday or Tuesday, then uh, just dividing it by 7 might give you correct answer, or it might not give you correct answer. So we will have to update our logic based on that. Otherwise, your approach is very good, because there was another approach as well. So the other approach was you start from the nearest Wednesday. Nearest means whatever is after 29th November 1983, and then you keep running in a while loop. Uh, in a while loop, you each time you jump over 7 days, and that way you keep approaching to this particular date, which is not efficient way. So whatever you have told is very efficient way. You can create two dates in Excel, and then you can uh, use the formula that allows you to calculate the difference between those two dates. All right. So that's all about this question, and it can also be solved using Python modules, such as there is one date module in Python. And so this is something what you can use. So this is for delta. This creates a delta of. All right. So what I'm saying is you can create two dates using date module of Python, and then also you can calculate the difference between those two dates, and that way also you can solve this question. And you can even do it in browser console itself using JavaScript date functions. So these are different ways to do it. I will now move to question number 8. And question number 8 requires you to extract CSV from a particular zip file. So this is a zip file. If I download it, it will open up as a zip file, and then it only have one CSV file. So basically, it just requires us to extract that file. We can use File Explorer, or we can even use WinRAR, any, or we can even use command line tools. So I will just skip this question because I think everyone knows about how to extract zip files. Okay. So here we have JSON. Now, what is a JSON? So if you want to store some data, let us say you want to store names of students and along with their age, or it might be the name of an employee and then you want to store their age. So the way to do it is you uh, is there any background noise from my side?
And there is slight, but it's there is slight background noise.
All right. So if I create a JavaScript file and now let us say I want to store details about all the students and now this is a JSON notation, then what I can do, JSON is basically similar to key and value pair. So now I can create instead of creating a JavaScript file, I think I will instead do it in Python because it also has something similar to it. Mm, so here I can create a students list which have, let us say, we have name, and but to store each of those individual elements, what I will have to do, I will have to create these objects within it, and then I will have name. Let us say name is uh, let me take Ritvik, and I don't know what is his age. Let me put 20 so that he looks young. And then we can take another name. Let us say Jivraj, whose age is so I'm 20 years old, so I will put 20 over here, and then we can take another name, Jatin, who is in meat, and let us say he is 15 years old. Okay, now if I want to extract details about Jatin, so simply what I can do, I can just use, so Jatin is on the third index, so it is 2, and then if I want his names, I will just use name, and instead of his name, if I want his age, that's how I can get his age. So what JSON is capable of, you store things in a hierarchical fashion, and then you can get those variables out of it. And instead of having this name as a single name, we can have names as first name, and then let us say first name is Ritvik, and then let me put another keyword as last name, and last name is Trivedi. So now, can anyone tell how can I access first name of Ritvik?
You put in another set of square bracket under the name, and then you put in the first name. The code is showing here, I guess.
Yes. So what I have to do, I have to first go to the first index that will get me this particular object. Once I get this, I want name, which stores this information, and within this, I just want his first name. So this is how I can get his first name. All right. So now I will show you something that makes use of this JSON structure. So if I just open discourse.com, And then if I go to network tab, and let me just go to this users page. Now here we can see this data I have loaded over here, but how this data gets loaded. So yesterday uh, Sharans was talking about it fetches some data from some backend server. So this is where it have sent a request to a backend server, and what it have got us weekly data. That is because we have selected week over here. If I change it to year, then it will send some other request, and then it will get yearly data. I think this is the one that have yearly data. Now we can even change these groups, and that way we can we can put multiple filters over here in URL encoded parameters, and then it's been ordered with the number of likes that someone have received. So what so when we have sent this request, and then it have got this data that gets populated in the front end. So how this data have come to us? So I mean, how backend have given response? So from backend, this is what we have received. So this is basically a JSON. Uh, this JSON have a key directory items, and the directory items have got this ID. This ID refers to, I think it is my username, so I think it is my user ID itself. Even we can, so I think that this ID is associated with me. I think so. Maybe it won't show up here, but that is my ID, and then it tells how many solutions I have given, and then this is some gamification score that gets calculated based on number of likes and those things. And then here we have some other information, how many days I have visited. So after joining, I think these many days I have visited, and then uh, so this directory items is a list. Within this particular list, this is zeroth index. The zeroth index have some key user, and then it have got my name over here. So if I want to get my name from this JSON, what I can do, I can go to what I will do. Let us say this variable is stored in uh, some response variable. Then what I will do, I will do response of um, directory items, and then within directory items I will go to user, and then within user I will go to name. That way I can get the username. And right over here we have some other ID, and then this is for Anand Iyer, and this is his ID, and then all those information about him. So when we are populating this particular website using some DOM manipulations, if we have structured data that is stored in JSON, and if backend sends data in JSON format, then we can very easily populate it here, because we know how to access this particular solutions variable, we know how to access this particular likes received variable, and then we even know how to access name and these things. That's why we can put it in a formatted way. So this is very nicely structured format, which have my name over here, and then number of likes I have received over here, and then number of likes that I have given. All those details are very nicely structured over here. So this is use of JSON. So basically, what happens whenever a backend sends some information to the front end, mostly it sends it in the JSON format. So whenever you send the API call, it will uh, it will send you data in some JSON format, so that it is structured and you can show it beautifully on your website. Right? Does anyone have any doubt on JSON part?
So just one thing, if
Yeah, Ritik.
we also have to, for some reason, build
Yes.
websites on using JS, JavaScript, would that also help in TDS course?
Uh, Actually, I think your voice was breaking. Can you
So
just repeat one more
like
time?
in Mat 2, Mat 2 is a kind of prerequisite for this, no? So if we kind of revise all the JavaScript stuff we studied in Mat 2, is that going to kind of help in TDS? Is there like a lot of involvement?
See, from JavaScript point of view, I don't see much involvement other
Okay,
than the understanding of document selector, which mostly gets used in TDS.
okay, thank you.
And this JSON is basically some structured format. Okay, so if no more doubts, then I will move to next
Like
question.
while
Yes,
we are
Jan.
doing like related to this course, so we will be accessing particular websites information via Python using uh, this one, the JavaScript which you are telling. So
You mean to say JSON?
like I'm trying to like finding the bridge how things are related. So
All right,
like where we will be using this one, because I like completely don't have any idea about this.
sure. So well, I think I will go back to discourse and then I will try to access uh, that particular data.
See,
And
not only access the data but also show the code, which probably is okay. You won't be able to show the code. Sorry.
no, 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 no. I think I will show it. So we have got the this, and where is the? Is it this one? No. It should be which one? Yeah, this is the one. And then over here, uh, if I just copy all this data, so what discourse does, whenever you open this user page, that's what I have done. I have went here and I have opened users page by clicking on this particular button. Whenever you go to this particular page, it loads 50 users. So this particular JSON have 50 different users. So it have Karthik, uh, instructor Karthik, and then it have Harsh. These are all different people that are there. So it gets us 50 different users, and as you scroll down, if you hit end, then it will send another request, and then it will load more data. So here it have sent another request. So how it does, it will uh, change one of these parameters and then it will load more data. This is how it works. I can show it. um, I think this is the first one. So it have got this data to us. So now uh, basically what you can do, you have got this uh, request URL. Then here we have some request header, and within this request header we have got this cookie. And if we send this cookie along with uh, along sorry, if we send this cookie and we try to hit this particular URL using some API call, all right, then you will get in the response back, you will get this particular data, which is a very nicely structured format. And now if you want to get username and those things, then you can very easily get them. And now what I will do, I will just paste it over here. And since this is a Python file, what I can do, I can print, and then I will have to first assign this to a variable. So let me call it, what do you want? Uh, we can call, what we can call, just call it students. Okay. And now what I will do, I will get students of directory items, which is this particular key. Now within directory items, I want to get the 0th one that has my name over here. So I will go to 0th one, and then I will go to user, and I think within user we have name over there, and this should print my name. Okay, I will just save it somewhere. In downloads. Okay, now I will just hit run button, select Python interpreter, and let me select the global one. This is from line number 29. This true. So this is because this is a JSON. It's not a dictionary. So what I would have to do, I think I will have to import JSON library over here. Import JSON and
One naive question from my side.
yes,
So
Anand.
we learned about this UV thing where we
Yes,
where there yeah.
yes. I
So
will
we
be using UV here.
okay, okay,
And
okay, okay, okay.
instead of doing it in Windows, I think I don't have UV installed over here.
Got it, got it.
Yeah, it's not here. So I will move to the virtual machine. I will just copy this whole code to my virtual machine. This is another machine. What I will do, I think this machine have UV installed. Yeah, this machine have UV installed. So I will go to TDS Jan 2025, and then I will make another directory, and what we can call it, maybe we'll call it JSON, and then we can go to JSON directory, and now I will open it in VS Code.
So how are you able to identify that UV is installed just by looking at the folders?
Uh, Wait a second, I will show that to you. So the way to make sure that UV is installed, you just type UV hyphen version, and then it gets you the version of the UV. And if you don't get any version, and if you get some error, then you would have to install it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So here, what I have done, I have imported JSON, and then we are trying to get the name. So now let me run it using UV. I run, and what is name of the file? I think it's test.py, and true is not identified. Oh, okay. By the way, why did it not give me error regarding JSON when I tried to import JSON on the very first line? Why didn't it give me error? Because I haven't included anything in the metadata script. Or does anyone have any idea?
I'm clueless.
Okay. Anyone else? Ideally, what we should have done, we should have included JSON in the metadata script, but it doesn't. It didn't give us any error while we did it. So let me use this UV run test.py. Haven't got any error. The scale and maybe. Yeah, now it gives me an error. This is because these two modules, JSON and request, they are already installed on my uh,
Local
what thing
device.
called in my yeah, they are installed globally. Yeah. If they are not installed globally, then it would give me an error. In that case, what I will do, I will put some metadata script over here. So let us put the metadata script here, inline metadata script, and then this is the page that will have all those information, and then I can just go here and I can paste it here, and then I will say JSON.
But isn't JSON already in your global? It's already in your local device.
Yes, but that doesn't make any difference. I think still I will be able to run this particular. Okay, because JSON was not found in the package registry. I think JSON is. I think it comes up with the Python pre-installed. So this won't work. Let me just remove it. And what I will do now, I will use JSON dot, or is it JSON dot dump? I think that would. Is it JSON loads or JSON dumps? I think this is the one that I will have to use. All right. Did you mean true? Mm, JSON. This is because this in JSON you use basically true as this particular
Jivraj,
variable. Yeah, yeah,
this the T in true should be caps lock because we are using Python over here. I think that's the
yeah.
problem.
All right, all right, all right. Thanks, Sharan. Yeah, that is the problem. So what I will do, I
Sir,
will
sir, and
replace all
null
the.
also.
Yeah, null will also create issues. So I think we'll have to do something to replace null. So right now, what I will do, I will replace everything that is kept small t as capital TRUE. Let me do that. Mm,
Sir, just a second. Like we were reading the file and the basic example, and can you come back? Like, what are we trying to do here?
okay, okay, okay. So first, did you get the idea about how backend sends us response?
Sir, I was with you till the point you gave the examples and we draw out the data and naming. After that, I felt lost.
Okay, okay. So what I was telling yesterday, Sharans was displaying some IMDb data, and then he was also going through his website. Right now, I'm using Discourse, which have these users listed over here, along with the number of likes they have received and number of likes they have given to others, and then how many replies and solutions, these things. So how this data gets loaded in the browser. So this is from the network tab. If I go to network tab, here I can find information about all the request, or you can call it external resources, from where uh, uh, the external resources that this particular web page is using. So one of the resource that it uses is it gets this data, this name of my name and like received from somewhere. Okay. So
Yes,
how it
sir.
gets this data, it sends some API calls to backend. So if I go click over here, fetch XHR, fetch comma XHR, then I can find this directory underscore items. Now, if I look at the response that we have got, so generally what happens, we try to send a request to this particular URL, and then I will also send along with the request. We used to send these cookies inside it, and then uh, in return it gets this data. Okay, then this JSON format, which is very structured. It have got directory
Yes, man.
items.
And this should be easy to extract, like we did in
Yeah,
the simple example.
yes. They should be easy to extract, and uh, that's why populating it here would be very easy.
Yeah, so what are we UV machine and like how did that come?
So what I was trying to do, I was trying to import this JSON module, and then I was just putting some metadata script over here. Uh, this is just to mm, let me just put JSON here. So if I'm importing any module, and then if I put all those dependencies in the metadata script, and then if I use UV to run this particular file, then I don't have to create those external, uh, what do you call it?
You haven't saved it yet.
Oh, okay. So this gets me this error because JSON is already a pre-installed module, I think. That's why we get this particular error. Okay. If there is some other module, then if I import it, I don't have to create those virtual
You can import
environments.
sklearn because it's not installed in your local device.
Actually,
Yes.
what we are trying to do over here is that we are trying to import JSON and then do some stuff with JSON. So importing sklearn won't be of much help over here. So Jivraj, we
Yes.
can do one thing. We can just you can just yeah, just remove all that, and now we can try running this script.
Yes, Sharans, that's what I will do. So I will also since this null will also create an issue, I will just replace it with nulls with quotes. And now we are ready to run the script. Okay, string indices must be integer, not str. Okay, why does that error come?
We could also use JavaScript. Like we could do it
Okay.
in Node.
Ritvik, did you say something?
Like JavaScript would be very easy for this.
No, what I'm trying to do, we have copied that JSON from there, and now I'm just trying to look for my name
Okay.
within this JSON. You can even do it in JavaScript.
You
So
can
now
do it
if
in
I just,
JavaScript would be like nice to show.
mm, okay. So I have got my name over here. So this is what I was trying to show. You have got, you can very easily get these names and these things because it have this hierarchy. It have this particular keyword, which is a array, and then within this array, you have got individual elements, and then in these elements, you can extract them as well. Now, what you can do if you want to get username of each of them. So for example, uh, this guy have an ID of 7771, and then its username is this one, and then sorry, basically its
Did you
username is this. And
did you load it? Did you load the JSON? Like you imported JSON, right?
no. This JSON I have just copied it from here.
No, the library JSON. You imported it, right?
No, I didn't import it.
Because you have to load it as a JSON as well, right? Whatever object you are having. If you were accessing it, accessing it in that
Well,
way.
actually, there is no need for the JSON's package over here because we have copied the entire JSON object from that particular from that particular inspect menu, and then over here it's acting as a dictionary. So the entire, so like we are
Yes.
not
Okay. Okay.
dealing with the JSON over here, we are actually dealing with a dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how you can actually just simply copy the JSON files, the JSON object, and paste it in a Python script. Then you can use it as a dictionary file.
Yes. 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 Did not notice that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Jivraj. So I guess we were looking at how we can like run a for loop over here and access all the names.
Yes, you are correct, Sharaj. So what I will do, I will create a for loop. And how I will create a for loop, I would have to create a for loop for this directory items. That is because this is a array. Okay. So what I will do, I will say for element element in students of directory items, and then now uh, now this element will have a key user that will have some information, and then we can just go to name, and instead of printing them we can store them somewhere. So let me create a list, and then we can append them, and at the end we can just print it. Okay, so we have got all these names. So what I was trying to say, you can run over for loop, and then you can populate all this data to the front end, and it comes very nice. And why you are able to access it is because it have a very beautiful for, format structure, you can see. So JSON have very beautiful structure, and using that you can extract, you can access things, the names and different things. Okay.
And so this wasn't
Jivraj,
possible without the UV package. Like normally you can't load this.
No, UV got nothing to do with reading this JSON. Even I can run it using Python. See, it works. So the only usage of
Jivraj,
UV, yes, 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 Sharan.
yeah, so what I was thinking that now that we have shown them how you can actually access the JSON object and extract data from that, how about we show them how you can actually load the JSON object using a given URL in your Python script. So that would be
So
using the
you mean to
request package in
say
the
we,
JSON file.
we send a request?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Okay, I will do that.
All right. Or would you like me to do that, to take that part?
All right, you can do that. Sure.
All right, all right,
I will stop sharing.
all right. All right, guys, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Let me sim. But first, let me create a new folder, and then we can start working. Okay, I will be creating an Jupyter notebook or Python file. All right. So now that we have learned that how you can actually access the JSON object, what remains is that we have to see how you can actually extract that JSON object use it from a URL. Okay. So for that purpose, let's look at some things. Okay. So okay, let's go to library. Let's say nominating. Mm, okay, I'll be using my own website over here. Okay, because I'm much more aware about the APIs and everything about my website more than any other one. Okay, so when you go to the networks tab, so whenever you're trying to access the JSON object, the networks tab is your friend over here. Okay, and you will be you will find each and everything that you will find those JSON objects wherever. Is the screen visible? Someone is saying, is the screen visible? All right, all right. So whenever you are going to work with JSON objects, and whenever you are actually going to extract those JSON objects, the first and the first step that comes into the pipeline is you have to firstly get that URL which will actually give you the JSON object. Okay, so you won't be able to extract JSON object of any file that you of any website that you want without a URL. Okay, so for that purpose, specific websites basically have a thing called, like, they have a special what can we say, a special URL for APIs. Okay, so this is the API calls for my website. As you can see that here is an a slash and then API, and now all the JSON objects that would be fetched would be fetched using this one. Okay, so this is one API, this is one URL for the API, and there are even more. If I go to, let's say, if I go to this learn. Okay, if I go to this learn one, you can see that more JSON objects have been loaded, more API calls have been run through, and more JSON objects have been loaded. Okay, so if I just click over them and look at the response, which Jivraj has already told you guys how to do that actually. Okay, so just click over these uh, kind of API calls. Okay, and then click on the response menu, and there you will find the actual JSON object which that this particular URL has fetched. Okay, now one thing was simply copying this entire JSON object and pasting that in your Python script, but another thing is actually extracting this entire object in your Python script using the URL. Okay, so how you can do that? Firstly, let's look at the URL which is actually responsible for this. So this is the URL. Let me copy this, and before I will show you how you can do this using Python, I want to introduce a new tool to you guys, which would be really helpful for you to understand how all these JSON objects are working. Okay, so that's called Postman. Okay,
Just a second, sir.
so yeah.
Is copy pasting a problem here due to the large size or something else?
Yeah, due to the large size it might cause a problem, because let's say here we had 50, like when Jevraj was doing it, I guess there were 50 students over there. But most of the times, whenever you are whenever you are solving questions for TDS or in your projects or in your ROE, you will be getting data in mass. Okay, so there would be like 500 to 1000 data values in a JSON object, and when you are trying to copy pasting, when you will be trying to copy paste those objects into your Python script, it will create a whole kind of mess. Okay, so why go through all that pain?
And another
Yes.
reason you won't be doing this is because you want to do things programmatically. You want to automate a lot of things. So you might need to send multiple requests by changing some query parameters. So for example, here Q is equal to Delhi. Instead of this, you might have to get information about Delhi, Chennai, and then Kolkata, different cities. So how you would do this?
Yeah,
You won't be going to every page and copy paste. What you will do, you will send request instead.
absolutely.
All right. All right,
So
sir.
the thing what which Devraj just said is that for example, I had this is actually nominating API. So what this nominating API does is it gives you the information any uh, about any location you want to search for. Okay, so over here in this q parameter I have entered Delhi, that's why it would give me the response for Delhi, and for some reason it is not giving me that response. I have to check that. Okay, so for instance, you have been given a question that okay, you have been given 50 cities, and now you have to find the let's say latitudes and longitudes, because nominated API will give you the latitudes and longitudes of that particular location you are searching for. Okay, so you have been given an entire list of cities, let's say not 50, there are 200 to 350 cities in India, and then you have to, let's say, find out the latitudes and longitudes. Okay, and good luck. If you are just going to copy paste everything, then good luck with that. It will just consume your entire day and perhaps your week, and it won't be of much help. So, in case of uh,
What is the question you said will take an entire week?
that, you have been given
Having the
200 to
coordinates
350
of 200
cities.
cities.
Yeah, you have been given 200 to 300 cities, and then you have to find the latitudes and longitudes for those cities using nominating API. Okay, so that would be a bizarre task for a single person, doing manually, doing just it's basic copy pasting. So that would be a bizarre task. What you can do is, instead of doing simple copy pasting, I will just take the list of all those cities. I will run a for loop in which I will be again and again sending this request of nominating API, just changing this parameter, this Delhi parameter. Okay, here I've written Delhi. I can simply write Kolkata. Okay, and it will give me the latitudes and longitudes for Kolkata, and then I can search for that. Okay, so I will be going through this nominatum API. I guess I have to figure out why it is not working after I actually show you how you can access the data, which from my website. Okay, so I guess there is some problem with, there is some parameter problem with nominating. Okay, so what I will be doing is I will simply copy and paste the URL from my website, and then if I simply click on send over here, it should give me the JSON object. Okay, so I have got the entire JSON object from that particular website without even opening up my Google page. Okay, so let's say if I just close Google, obviously I won't be able to close Google because my meeting is running over here. So without even accessing, without even opening your browser, you can extract that JSON object from a particular website. Okay, so this is how APIs work. So the only work of APIs is to transport data from a particular server, because every website is deployed over a server, and it takes data. It's like a carrier. It will carry data from that server to the user who is accessing that particular website. Okay, so this is how APIs actually work. And this is how it's working in my website's case as well, because this learn course will give me all the data uh, about the courses which are there on the website. And let's say I want to change this particular uh, parameter. Let's say I want to go to my projects. Okay, so for my projects I have to check, okay, this is the API call which is actually fetching all these, let's say this is the fit mode, this is the first one, this is the fit of 6 models, and here is the JSON object of all the projects over here. Okay, so this is the URL. What you have to do, simple, copy, then paste over here and send, and then it will give you the entire JSON object. Okay, so this is how JSON actually works. This is how APIs actually work. Okay, so now you have understood how Postman works. So do you guys have some problem with Postman? Have anyone heard this name before?
It's an Indian company.
Yeah, so
API.
I was just wondering on which app are you, in which application are you using
so
this?
This is Postman.
HTTP and HTTPS kind of like there is some difference in HTTP and HTTPS
Well,
and post.
HTTP and HTTPS, the main difference is that HTTP is not secure and HTTPS is secure.
Yeah, yeah. So like long back I have used it,
Okay,
very
you
year
have
ago.
used Postman.
Like long back, it's around
All right,
four
all right.
four years or 4 years back.
Okay, okay. So perhaps you can get a refresher of Postman. So this Postman, as the name suggests, it posts your, like, it acts as a postman between you and the APIs. It just takes the it just sends the APIs calls for you and extract the data and just give you the data.
So
Okay.
I usually use Thunder client, but like I
Yeah,
have
you can use
used.
Thunder client. You can go to VS Code. There is an extension for VS Code, which I guess I don't have Thunder client. Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is Postman.
Okay.
Uh, there is actually an extension on VS Code named Thunder client.
Which one do you like better? Like, is Postman more
Well,
user friendly or?
you can use anyone.
Okay, okay.
I generally prefer Postman because I have made my Mad 2 and Mad 1 projects using Postman. I got to know about Thunder
Mm,
client like few months back from my younger brother. And that, like, when you get comfortable with something, you are
okay.
not ought to change the
Same.
API or
I
the
did my
application.
projects using Thunder client, so
Yeah, so that's completely fine. You can use Thunder client instead of installing Postman. You can simply use the power of VS Code to do that for you. Simply you open VS Code, go to extensions tab, search for Thunder client. Okay, so you can simply install it, and let me install it. Why not installing? Okay.
Sir, on the Postman, you are writing the for loop thing also, or
No,
how are
no,
you?
absolutely not. Absolutely not. So Postman is just used when you have to send one request. Okay. So when I have to actually do that city part, when I have to actually have to run the for loop for that, then I will be required to run it in my Python script. Okay, so for Postman is generally for when you have to check, okay, what kind of data is it is giving or not. So when I was actually making my Mad 1 and Mad 2 project. So I was using Postman to check my API calls. So this is how developers use Postman, and you guys can also use Postman whenever you are trying to like access the entire data. Let's say, because the reason is sometimes when you have data, when you have JSON objects which like range about 5,000 to 10,000 uh, uh, elements in that. So over here, I guess there are at most 10 elements present in this JSON object. When you have actually 500 to 10, let me just open it over here. It would be much more easier for you to understand. Okay, okay. So we have seven objects over here. Okay, so there are seven objects in this particular array. So we just have seven objects, and that's why it's just running. It's just running peacefully. When you are going to get 5,000 to 10,000, or let's say 500 to 1,000 objects, then problems will start to arise. If you open it in Google, it will just hang. So I have faced that a lot of times. I Once I tried to open an API call, and it opened up like exactly like this, and it just my entire Google Chrome crashed because it has so much data. It wasn't even able to load it entirely. There is actually a Pokemon API call, which when I was in TDS few terms back, we had to do something with the Pokemon API. And the Pokemon API, just like it's a simple API. You can just simply search for a certain Pokemon in that using that API, and it will just give you the entire details about the Pokemon. Each and everything, when it got evolved, who was the owner, each and every detail about that particular Pokemon. But when I just tried to open it using the URL on Google, the problem was it's instantly crashed. Okay, so
how
I had
many
to
Pokemons were
close
there?
the entire Google Chrome, and then I have to restart the process.
How many Pokemons were there?
I don't know, man. There was, I guess,
A
I don't
hard way
know.
to learn the number of Pokemons.
The number of Pokemons. Like I just searched for a
So,
certain Pokemon, and
so
they had
many
information about
Pokemons that
like
the
which
browser
league it
crashed.
conquered, which certain foe it defeated, each and everything. Like it was a large JSON object. That's why it crashed. Okay. So that's a story
Ba-
for another time.
Basically, what happens if there is a lot of data that needs to be loaded? In those cases, it sends multiple requests using some different query parameters. For example, in case of discourse, then we all know that there are more than 40 users, but in every request we just get 40 users. That is because there should not be much load on front end side and also from the backend side. So network, if we send more data through the network, then it requires more bits and bytes. So what we try to send, and that whole data might not be useful. So for that, we just send some portion of data, and then whenever requested, we will send more data. So when we hit bottom of the page, then it sends another request. That is because we are requesting for more data. So this is how data gets loaded in through the API calls. It sends multiple requests if it needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, this is another example. Yeah, we can use this particular APIs as well. Okay, so back uh, 15 days back, I was looking for some job opportunities on Unstop, and what I realized was that going through each and every job and then opening it up, then looking at okay what's the updation date and everything else. It would I am a student of TDS. Why shouldn't I automate this entire process? Okay, so what I did was I created a Python script which actually searched each and every, it actually fetched this API. This okay, it's going to crash. I should close it. Okay, so you saw that it was actually going to crash. So what I did was I extracted the data from that the API that they're using over here, and then I just created a CSV file, no Excel file out of that, and then I just use some filters to search out the best job opportunities which I can apply for on Unstop. Okay, so this was one of my minor projects which I did, and I guess we should use this particular API at some point of time to show how you can actually access the data, some useful data. Okay, but let's leave this at this point of time and focus on this one because this is much more easier to understand. Okay, all right. So we have this certain URL, and now you may be thinking that okay, how can I access it in Python? So for that, okay, Thunder client has been installed. So this is, as I told you, that this is the extension which allows you to send you know uh, API requests. So you can do a new request and you can actually send the API call. You can simply click on send, and here is the JSON object. Okay, so rather than installing Postman or any other type of any other uh, Postman kind of program, you can simply install this extension of VS Code. So this is a really helpful extension for those people who don't want to install Postman. Okay, so here you can get the objects. All right, let's close this one and let's get to Python. All right, so for this we will be required to install few libraries, and which is import jar the request library, requests, import. Okay, I have to select the kernel.
Sharansh,
Yeah.
uh, you can run it using UV command line tool instead. I think that would be helpful.
Will UV work in Jupyter script?
Uh, I I never tried using Jupyter script. You can create a IPyNB file maybe.
Yeah, I have
That way,
created the
students.
INB file, but
Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry.
let's
Python
check it.
file. Python
Let's check
file.
it out. Okay, we can create a Python file, but let's check if it will work in IPyNB file as well. What do you say?
I think you would have to create a file and then you execute that file. So how would you run a cell using UV? I don't know. I think it's not possible.
Okay, okay, let's create this file. The only Reason I want to do this with IPyNB is that you can actually, without running the entire code, you can actually see what actually is happening with what each and every element can do, each and every line of code can do. So that's why I wish to use this. Let's do one thing. Instead of using UV, we can, I have some certain uh, local environments which we can use. Can we do this? Here it is. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, here it is. And this, I'll open it up. So actually, this why I have come to this particular folder is that I have a virtual env over here. As you can see, I am hovering over that virtual env, and it contains each and every module you will be required to use in TDS. So when I was when I was actually doing my TDS course, I created this folder, and I created this virtual env. Okay, so let me create a new file, and let's say we are going JSON IPyNB. Okay, let's do this. Let's select a kernel env. All right, now I will import the requests package and the JSON package. All right, okay, it has been imported. Now let's get to it, and let's see how you can actually use that certain URL to fetch the JSON object. Okay, for this, uh, just see what I'm actually doing over here, and then I will be explaining each and every part of the code. Okay, let me create a new a new variable. So we rename it response requests dot get. Here it is, and response. All right. So what I did over here is that uh, I actually sent a request using Python. How? Using the request package. Okay, so this is the request package which I have used, and this package actually has a lot of functions to actually send your requests to a particular API endpoint. For instance, I have used get over here. There are multiple other functions you can use. There is post. Okay, there is post, there is put, there is delete as well. So all these functions are actually called known as HTML verbs. No, HTML verbs or HTTP verbs? Divaj, it was HTTP verbs, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess it was HTTP verbs.
Yeah, basically you can use request.get and those things. Are you talking
Yeah,
about that?
yeah, I was actually talking about that. So these are the HTTP verbs you can use. There is get, there is post, there is put, there is delete. You need not bother with put, post, and delete. You just have to use this get command over here. Okay, so what this get will do, uh, do you remember that in Postman we had something like this? Here is the get. Can you guys see this? We have this get option, and we have all those HTML HTTP verbs which I just talked about. All right, so this get is actually going to do the same operation which Postman did for us. Okay, so request dot get, and you have to open these brackets, and then you have to simply put the API endpoint. Okay, and then it will give you the JSON object. How it will give you the JSON object? Now this is the variable which actually has the entire thing, and when you are going to print this variable, you will see that it has given the response, and it is 200. So what does this 200 mean? It means that your request was accepted, it was successful. It If it is like a 400 kind of digit, then it has been rejected. If it is 500, it has also been rejected. So when it's between 200 to 300, then it's actually a good thing. Okay, so your request has been actually accepted. Okay, so response dot JSON, I guess it was. JSON. Okay, and it should give me, oh, all right. So response.json. So what is response? It's just a variable over here, as you can see. It's just a variable which has uh which I have assigned this entire function to, and now I can perform the activities. Now now cause the request has run. Now I can use this particular variable to do some kind of task for me. Okay, so when you are going to use response.json, it will give you the entire JSON object. Okay, now you can search for anything. Like, this is a kind of Python dictionary at this point. I guess we have to use JSON dot loops. Let me check. This will work. Okay, it has already been converted to a Python dictionary, I guess. Okay, let me give this name dictionary, and then you can perform those operations which Jivraj just told you. Okay, you can use it as a Python dictionary, and you can fetch any kind of information from this. Is this part understood by everyone?
Yes, but uh, didn't you go into a lot of details into the JSON thing?
Into
Exactly
JSON
my
thing, like
point.
for instance.
Basically, JSON is just similar to Python dictionaries. It have the a nice format which allows you to extract each and every element.
So uh, you guys, like, I have explained it in a much more detail. So is that a problem?
No, no, I was just asking. I was not
So,
complaining, I guess.
So
so Saransh, what I was asking is,
yeah,
like we use get to uh, fetch the required website, and
yeah,
then from there we save it in the dictionary variable, and from there when we execute the dictionary, we are able to get all these informations.
exactly. You can use it as a Python dictionary, and then you can extract the data out of it. All right.
Okay.
So this is how you can actually run an API call. You can use request.get, and it will just run. It will just fetch that JSON object for you. And using response.json, you will be able to uh, use this entire JSON object. Okay, so this is how you can access that part. Also, when the question which I gave you, that the scenario which I just told you, that you may be given 250 to 350 cities, and how will you be able to access that? So I guess here is the nominative part. Okay, here it is. So what you can do over here is that simply put this API call over here. So these URLs are actually called the API endpoints. Okay, so you can put this over here, and then it will just fetch the entire JSON object for you. Okay, let me just uh, see if it is working. Let's see. Okay, it is not working. I guess there is some problem with this particular API endpoint. I have to look into that. But uh, yeah, so this is how you can actually you can actually solve that particular scenario. Just simple. uh, what you can do is simply run a for loop over all those cities. Okay, for I in, let's say, cities. Cities is a list which I have, and what I can do is I can create it as a f string, then I can place an I over here. Okay, so if when you have a entire list of cities, you can simply run a for loop over them, and then you can get the response. Okay, so this is how you can actually solve that particular scenario, and this is how you send API calls using Python. So is there a problem, or should we move ahead?
A small thing at a very later period of time. So this VS Code, like I started, I tried like creating a new page and start writing code, whatever is required. But
Okay.
I was not very much clear where to go and what to do in order to create all these IPYNB files.
You can like I guess you can create your
Sharansh,
simple, yeah.
I think you can copy paste the same code and you can do it using UV command, and you can show the power of UV. You don't have to actually create Python virtual environments and these things.
Yes, actually we can do that as well. Uh, we have to see that. Uh, all right, let's create a Python file. We can name it JSON.py. Let's call it this one. Okay. So this Python file is not going to be uh, accessed by any. Okay, I have to enter the. Yeah, here it is. It is should be import requests and import JSON. Then this part, and we will be printing this dictionary. All right. I guess I have UV over here. Let's see. Do I have UV? Okay, I don't have UV over here. Guess I have to install it. Uh, it was pip install UV, I guess, Jivraj.
Yes, Sharansh, you can use pip to install UV.
Alright, UV is installed. Let's see. All right, it's working. It was UV run, and it should be JSON.py. Let's see. It hasn't given anything. Okay, I haven't saved it. Alright. So, can you guys see this? That UV resolved all those dependency problems, I guess, and then it has gave the entire uh, JSON object to us right here.
Actually, Sharansh,
Yeah.
I think these requests and JSON, these modules are installed globally. That's why it's not giving you an error.
All right.
If
All
they are
right.
not
That
present, then it would give you an error. And in that case, what you
okay.
have to do, you have to put those dependencies in the inline metadata script.
All right. All right. All right.
So, do you have access to a virtual machine where you don't have installed requests?
I can create a virtual environment and then we can use UV.
I think we won't be able to use it, maybe.
No, when I have a virtual environment
Okay, you will
and
activate it and then yeah, that you can do.
yeah,
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 that
that's
will.
what I'm saying. I can
Mhm.
create a virtual environment, then I will activate it, and then perhaps we can use UV. Okay, going back to this one. Okay, let's create a virtual environment. So if you guys are interested, you can see how you can actually create a virtual environment. This is a simple uh, command line command, and it has created a workplace. Yes. Okay, I will be creating a new file. JSON.py and copy the entire code. Right, here it is. And close this one. Save it. Okay, so here you can see that we have like because JSON is installed pre-installed with Python itself. That's why it's not giving a problem over here, but requests is giving a problem. Okay, so what we can do is we will be using UV. Do we have UV over here? Okay, I firstly have to activate this environment. For that, env, those who are interested, you can see how you can activate an environment. Okay, it has been activated, and now let's check, do we have UV or not. Okay, we don't have UV. Pip install UV. All right, UV has been installed successfully. Got it. Now let's try running this. Yes, it should work. All right. So we have to get that Python script first. That particular script element. Uh,
Just search inline metadata script.
Inline metadata.
Yeah, inline metadata script. Yes, the first one. Scroll a bit down. No, no, not this one. Yes,
Here it.
this one. Just
This one.
copy. Yeah, yeah. Correct,
Got
correct.
it.
Yeah, this is the one.
In comments. No?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And done. I will request. Okay, here it has request already written. Okay, so it's going to install request, and now let's run it. Let's see. Okay, I haven't saved it. Can you see, guys, that it's actually installing? Actually installed few packages. It installed 5 packages in 82 milliseconds, and then uh, it actually printed this entire object. Okay, so this is the power of UV. You which you should use.
Can you show
So
the
while writing the code, we need to mention import request and import JSON, and then the
Yeah.
UV will automatically install all those things.
No, no, no. So UV won't be able to install automatically. You have to actually include this particular script, this inline script, and then it will recognize, okay, so it's asking me to install these dependencies beforehand, and then it will actually go line by line. It will see, okay, so this is written first, so I have to install these dependencies. Then when it has already installed those dependencies, it will actually read these 2 lines. Okay.
How to
So
write those particular script? Like, is there a like these are generic pattern? Is this a generic pattern, or like
this
does
is a
it
generic pattern. Yeah, this is a generic pattern. You have to
requires Python the mode, and then the dependencies are whatever we want to install.
did
For
you type
example,
it or generate it?
what?
Mhm. For example, dependencies are requests, and then JSON also will be written over there, and the inverted
Actually,
copy.
JSON is pre-installed whenever you install Python. It is actually
Oh, okay.
pre-installed with that, so that's why
Okay.
I had no actual need of
Got it.
installing
Got it.
JSON with that. All right, so this is how you can do this. You can simply search it in that I just simply copied it from over here. Okay, simple copy it and then paste it. Even I didn't know how to write this particular script part. Just simple copy paste it. Okay, what's the harm? Okay, so this is how you can send requests using Python. If there is a problem, kindly raise your hand and ask a question, or else we can move ahead. All right, so let's move ahead. Jivraj, would you like to take over?
Sure, sure, Raj. Hope my screen is visible. So this question we have done. We have even done more than this question. The Sharans has actually sent the API calls, and I have demonstrated by copy pasting those response that we got from by sending a API call to Discords. So now we will move to the next question. All right. So since we have already looked at what is JSON and this particular file, it have some text. Let me show you what it contains. So it have got 4 over here, and then it have got equal to, and then it have got some value over here. So what you would have to do instead of this, you have to convert it to the JSON object. For example, if this was the only content over here, then how would you create a JSON out of it? You will put one curly brace here, then you will put another curly brace at the end, and then you would do something like this. And then instead of this, you will have this guy. So this is how you can convert it to JSON. Instead of a simple file, they have got multiple lines of code. So you just have to replace it this equal to with the semicolon, and then you have to just convert it to a proper JSON file. So which you can do using multi-line cursor in VS Code. So you can just search over internet multi-line cursor, and here you can have a look at what is on multi-line cursor. So I would just skip this particular question. Okay. Regarding CSS selector, this question, this have been dealt by in a lot in depth by Sharans in yesterday's session. So I think I can just skip over it. If anyone of you have doubt regarding CSS selector, then you can ask me right now.
So there were a few things mentioned over there. Like if you'll go down, just scroll a bit down.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, these small okay, container header
Yes.
and like what are these combinators and diner is something. See, this is diner. Okay, this one is. So what are those combinators? The one above that div.
Okay, we'll do that. So if you go here,
Well, those combinations are actually kind of like a high level CSS selection methods. So I didn't touched upon them last night because it would have like confused you guys. That's why I resorted to using simple selectors, simple CSS selectors. But these kinds of combinations can be used. So this div arrow p simply means that there is a div, and then inside that div there is a p tag. Okay, so there is a div tag, and then inside that p there is a p tag. So it will just tell the uh, it will just tell us console that, bro, you have to access all those divs which have a p tag inside them. So this is another level of CSS selector methods you can use. uh, you can just just explore these types of other combinations using ChatGPT or using documentation. Yeah.
so basically right over here, it applies this particular styling to each and every element. Then this specifically gets applied to just a p tag, and then this gets applied to all the elements that have this particular class. These are very basic things. And then this is for ID, and what this does, it selects all the this query selector. What it does, it will select all the uh, p tag which have my class, and with class it should have my id as the id. Okay. And regarding the
So on a superficial level, what actually combinators do? Like in like they play a part in creating uh, a web page or like.
uh, okay, what they do, for example, if I will again go to the same page. Here these informations are listed, right? If I go to the inspect tab, and then in particular if I go to the elements tag, over here all these details can be seen. If I just hover over the mm, Wait a second, I will use some other browser which have better support for elements, tags, and those things. So over here, now if I go to user, where is user? Yeah, this is the one. Now, if I go over here and if I just click on inspect, this gets me to this particular element, so which have a span tag with the name class. So what is this? What we see in elements tab over here is we call it doc. What we call it? We just call it. DOM module. So over here we have head, and then inside body we have different things. So we have section over here which have id as main, and then this have this particular class. So all these elements that are here, for example this name, exist somewhere in the hierarchy, and you can even see where it actually exists. So if you just um, keep going all the way here, and then it have HTML with this particular class, then it goes to body tag with this particular class and those things, and then it gets to section, and within section it goes to div, and then it goes to div, and at the very end it gets to span with a particular class. So this is the hierarchy of this particular DOM, which is there. So basically, whenever you try to load a page, what happens? You get a file, and in that file you don't have any data, and uh, uh, then some API call will make some API call, and then you will get data in this structured format. But now you will have to put this data into this HTML page. So how you would do this? You will have some script in the sources tab over here. One of those script, what it will be doing, it will be populating this page. So it will get this name and these things at the correct positions where it needs to be populated. So this is use of uh, the basically this is DOM structure, and those those this particular tag, it can be identified using these classes and these things. So you can precisely identify these things in DOM using some class id and some other attribute. So if I go to this particular graded assignment, and if I go to inspect tab, and then over here if I go on this thing, what this so if I just hover over this is this question. Okay, this question is encapsulated within this div tag. So it just contains information about this particular question, and how I can access this question. I can use I have div with this particular class, and then I can even filter it based on a attribute. So if I just try to look for this particular attribute, so for example I can just go to console tab, and then I can do document dot query selector, and then if I put, I think it's div, and along with some I will have to look over here how we can select based on attributes. This is attribute selector. So over here you can look at this guy, right? So if I just use this same thing, so what I have to do here, I have to oh, not this one, this is the page. And if I go to elements tab, I have data questions. Here it have href. Instead of this href, I will have data questions. So I will use data questions, data hyphen QUE questions, and this should be equal to this value. Then it will select that particular failed to execute on document and is not a valid selector. So maybe there is some mistake in the way I'm using selector. Let me just look over here. Hmm, I have data hyphen question is equal to this thing, and then if I
It's a
go here,
question, not questions. You put questions there. This question without S.
no, I think I would have to remove this. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Dalyut. By the way. Okay, this have selected this particular question. You can see over here. So this is just by using the attribute selector. So similar to attribute selector, we have something known as combinatorial selectors. What they does, so if I just go over this part of the documentation, then we have, so what it is trying to do, it is trying to select a, what it is trying to do, it is trying to select UL. So UL is just a list, you can say, and we are trying to select a list with this particular class. And after selecting that list, you are just trying to look for the uh, direct children of this guy. So if you go over here, and then if you want to select this guy, okay, then so this is direct children of this div, right? You can see here. So what I can do over here, I can put div over here, and div is not recognized. That is because I have to
You
put it
haven't. You
inside.
have put it outside the string.
Yes, yes. So this is selecting a particular element. Why? Because I am using query selector. If I use query selector all, then it will select all those. So there are three elements with which are direct children of this particular element. So if I just go to the elements tab, and here we can see these are the three elements that have got selected. Now if you look over here, this have some span and these things, so we can even open this up, and then we can go over here and we can see it have got some span tags and these things. So all this information you can have a look at inner HTML part of it. And then, so now you see what we have selected right now is this question, and within this question we are trying to look for all the direct children, but this didn't get selected, right? That is because it is direct children of this guy. It is not direct children of this particular guy, right? So it will select these three elements only. It won't select this guy. Okay, so that's what this particular combinator tries to select the direct children. And now, so this will select a div, and uh, then it will select the direct children of that particular div, which is a span. Okay, and then we have another, so this is child combinator. Then we have column combinator. So here we can look at the description of what this particular combinator do. It matches only those elements matched by the second selector that belongs to column element matched by the first selector. Table says that belong to selected column. So what it would do, if you have a table, then you can select a particular column, and after with a particular class, and then within that particular class you can do something. Okay, so this way you can have multiple different kind of selectors. And then if you go to descendant combinator over here, uh, it is trying to get a particular list with this particular class, and within this list it is trying to list all of these things. So if you look at this is list, okay, and within these lists, so you can think of it as a list, and within this list you have these different items. So you have this ul over here, which denotes this list, this whole list, and within this whole list you have li over here. This denotes this li tag, and within this li tag you have ul. This is another sub list, you can say. And then within this list you have these two different elements. What this particular tag is trying to do, it is trying to get the list with this particular class, and then within this list it will try to get all those allied tags. So for example, if this ul had class of let us say it had this class, my things, for example, and if it had this particular class, then if you do, if you just do if you put a space and then if you put li, then what it would do, it would select this li, it will select this li, this li, this li, this li, this li. Wherever it finds a li tag, it will select those li tags.
Can you repeat this one, this li thing which you are showing once again?
Sure. So here what we have if we
No,
put
no,
a
that one is
space.
like anything which is tagged with li, that will be so li, everything which is below li will be extracted. So li, for example, from there to item 1, then sub item A, sub item B, then item 2, these things will be selected. I'm correct?
Basic, yeah, basically what it would do, it will get you this particular UL, and within this UL you are looking for any li tag. It is not that you are looking for the direct children. It can be any li tag. For example, it can fetch this li tag. It can also fetch. It will also fetch this li tag. It will fetch this li tag. It will fetch all these li tags if you put a space in between. But whereas if you put a greater than symbol, this one, this one, then what would happen if I just go back over here? Then if you select this ul and then if you put a greater than symbol and then you select this li tag, then what will happen? It will select this guy and this guy. It won't select these individuals. So that is difference between different selectors. Okay.
So while doing this subject, how to get catch hold of all these? Like there are so many. Do we need to
Uh,
remember or like how to tackle this? Or there will be some, like there is a boundary within which the questions will be asked.
basically, what you can do, I mean, even I don't remember all of them. I just remember this guy because it gets used a lot. This direct children and this guy also I remember a lot. So there are few things which I remember, and if I don't remember something, I takes help from uh, either the documentation or also as Sharans have told, you can even use Chat GPT. We always encourage using Chat GPT. So if I ask him, how can I select all the direct children's DRENS of a particular
Children
tag.
only, not us.
um, all right, okay. So it says you can use this selector and then you can put the parent selector and then you can put the child selector over there.
So
Let's
is
say
it
you
part
can
of
use,
web scraping, sir?
yeah, it gets used in web scraping.
Okay.
Daliod, you already know these things. You are May 2024 student.
Queen. Actually, I don't know these things. That's why I'm joining. Like web scraping, I have to brush up again.
Okay. I don't believe, but okay. I will accept. All right, guys. So this is where you can get all the information from. Either you can look over the documentation where you can learn about different combinators and then different selectors. Here you can select using attributes and then classes and then IDs, and then what is this type selector? Hmm, I think let me read what is type selector. CSS selector by node name in it select all the element of the given type within a document. I think it is for selecting a anchor tag or some other div tag. Hmm. Basically, we'll be talking about more of CSS selector in some other session where we will be doing some web scraping or something like that, where where we will be using CSS selectors a lot.
So, but this kind of feels a little overwhelming. As someone, I'm not even an engineer, I'm not doing science. I wanted to complete data science for my MBA, but somehow everything just feels overwhelming in this course.
But the thing with TDS is that it challenges your logical brain. Okay, so it challenges you to go in to solve problems which are, which you haven't dealt with earlier. Okay, so we will be giving you questions. So as you must have seen that many of these questions have not been even like many of these tools, or we can say many of these techniques haven't been taught to you in the course in the particular week. You haven't been taught these kind of some of these techniques and tools. So what we are doing in TDS is that we are training you guys to actually challenge yourself, to challenge your logical brain. You have to see the question, you have to read it, and then you have, if you require, you can simply go to ChatGPT. You can just paste this, you can just copy this entire piece of question and just put it over to you can just ask ChatGPT, what should I do over this? How should I approach this question? So this is how we are challenging your logical aspect of the brain, and this is how we want you guys to grow and
That is
do
there, Sarans, but the
problem
thing
solving.
is like having a little bit of background will be more helping. So you guys are doing right like that. Like you are heading in a right direction by giving a little bit of background, because without the background, like it won't be challenging. It will be floating in a space, because there are many things of which we don't know background, and then searching for that in Chat GPT completely, like it's completely different.
Yeah, I
I ag-
understand because
I agree to that. Even I'm trying a lot, but I just have to
Because there
practice.
are a number of tools,
Yeah,
technologies,
exactly.
and like without having a background, just
I
but like
completely agree with you guys, but you have to develop that. You have to bridge that gap yourself. So we
yes,
are
yeah.
here to help you guys. We are Let's ask us questions. If not in the live sessions, you can just ask. You can just tag us on a discourse post asking us about something, and we can provide you course material. Not course material. We can provide you some other types of material to study from like YouTube videos, like some other websites. We can give you guys to look from, to actually study from. So if there is a gap of background, so you guys have to abridge that, because tools in data science requires that kind of logical aspect and that kind of background, right?
Like I have gone through the most of the courses which are required for TDS. So I
Yeah,
feel that the material which we have, right, it's more like a summary of whatever we have studied. So if
yeah, absolutely. It's even more than a summary of the other subjects that are being taught in this particular program. It's much more than that, I would say. So this course will actually allow you guys. It's just an liberating course. So it will allow you guys to explore different aspects, different tools, different techniques, and to look beyond this particular degree. So that will actually help you guys. So let's say if you just use, let's say Chivraj has opened this Unicode question. Okay, let's say after solving this particular question, you are never going to see this, you are not going to see this, you are not going to use Unicode anywhere in your life. Okay, but in after some years or after some months, a question arrives in front of you. Let's say you're trying to open a CSV file and it's not opening. And when you read that error, it says that there is a Unicode problem. So then it will just strike you at that point of time. Okay, so yeah, I did something related to Unicode. Okay, so let me recall that what I did. So you will just simply go to chat GPT and you will search what there was, what is Unicode, and what you actually did. Okay, so this is how, so actually we are creating your background in this course. So we are helping you to create your background, your technical background, which you might lack. And this is why this course is going to help you guys.
This is very practical. Like I was discussing with somebody that they were like giving an example of how they completed a web scrape via web scraping. They had to like make a table, but they were making it manually before. But then they asked a friend that like, is there some way they can do it faster? So what would have taken them 3 to 5 days, they did it in like half an hour, just because the other person knew how to web scrape, or at least they knew that web scraping was possible. They used chat gpt and built up a code and made that table whichever like that they were supposed to make, and they were able to do it like in half an hour, which is like a huge improvement. So if you know how to ask the right questions, that will help a lot.
One more request from my side, sir. Like if I can have some of the study materials, because like I'm managing job along with this one, so it will be difficult for me to delve directly into on my own. So I'll need help from you guys. So
Not a problem. We can sort out all the materials we can give you guys. We can sort out the YouTube videos or the websites which we believe that might be able to help you guys in this particular course. And we will post a discourse post for that.
Yes, Sharan, sure.
Right.
We can make a discourse post regarding all the materials that we can provide from our side.
Also, guys, there is a feedback form which has been floated to you in your uh, seek window, the course window, when you will be opening your IITM dashboard. You will see that particular form over there. Yeah, Jivraj is just showing you guys. Yeah, we have to change this one, 25 and T1. So at the very bottom, you will have this learning feedback. This is a form created by us. Simply fill this form up. It will ask you whatever kind of challenges that you are facing, in whichever field you are facing these types of problems. And can you please scroll down? And what are the actual reasons behind facing these kinds of problems? And you can even give your other feedbacks. So this form, the responses from these forms will actually help us, curate more, curate a much more, uh, it will allow us to introduce material. It will allow us to plan our
Plan our
live session
sessions.
accordingly. It will allow us to plan what should we teach in our live sessions next. So it will be really helpful, and we will request you guys to go ahead and just fill this feedback form carefully, and write whichever whatever feedback you feel you should write. All right.
So one more thing is there, like we when I check, when I'm currently checking my TDS course content, like there is no like room directly for discussion, which directs it to the discussion forum. So,
Yeah.
so can we have a help on that one?
So you want discussion?
Discourse link
Okay.
isn't available over there.
Okay.
All right. If you go over here, and here you can find Discord's link, I believe. Hmm, yeah, this is the one.
Okay, okay.
Jivraj, what do you say? Should we give a link in the portal as well?
Sir, please share this link, sir. This
We can
link.
make a request to them. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, we
to the
can
backend team.
tell to the operations team to put a link over
Yeah.
here itself.
Sir, share this. Like, I have not joined this term. Okay.
Uh, okay, so you are asking for the discourse
Yes.
link, right?
No, no, get it. That one that you share in the chat. Jibra share.
Okay. So actually, all the course content has been released over here. I saw that few students were struggling. They were asking that, is there no course content for TDS? They were asking these types of questions, and yes, obviously there is content for TDS, and it has been released over here. So those guys should know really. They should study. They should
Sharansh,
read the, yeah.
even we are fastest to release till week 3. We have released, so I think we
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
ahead of other courses.
So you like all this information has been released in the Seek portal. So if someone is not able to understand that, you have to go to this particular link and then study. Actually, we have I guess we have released the entire yeah, all
Till
these
here we have released till week
course.
3,
Yeah.
and
So
even you
you
can
guys
have a
can
look
go
at
ahead and look
these.
at all these materials. Jivraj, actually, we have released the content for other weeks as well. Right?
Uh,
We
I
haven't
mean,
released
there
the
is.
graded assignments yet, but we have released the content for
Yes,
data
yes, we have
sourcing.
some
Like,
content for week 4 as well, but
yeah.
some of them is pending. It's not
Okay, okay, okay,
entirely
okay.
available.
So if you
But
guys
till
want, you
week,
can just simply go to this particular link and you can study content in advance as well. And yeah, it would help you guys.
Okay, sir.
So
One question, like whatever you released in the portal and whatever you release in this particular tab, that is like tds.s.anand.net
yeah, yeah, yeah.
website, is it like same thing?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's about
entirely
this.
same. I will just show you. So these are the 3 different modules that have been released,
Okay.
and if you go to a particular graded assignment, what you will get the URL to attempt this uh, assignment. The same you can get it from the web page that I was showing you.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Oh,
TDS is open for all the alumni this term. Even you would have seen Anand sir's post on it.
okay, okay, that's fine, sir. That's why I think so. Like there are a lot of upgrade in TDS course. Really helpful
Yeah,
courses
absolutely.
there.
I did my TDS course 2 terms back, and there has been a massive upgrade in
Really,
TDS.
really. Same here. I have
Yeah,
also done like 2 times. Okay,
and these updates are really actually for the
really
benefit
helpful.
of students.
Right. Thank you.
All right, guys. Then now I'll move to this Unicode question. Basically, here there is nothing much to do. All you do is you open a particular file, and this is this is just opening a file in a regular way, and this is you use pandas to open a particular file with some encoding, and let us say you don't know what is encoding for this particular file. Then what you do, you try to detect encoding. So you import this particular module, and then you you pass this particular data.csv over here in the readable mode, and then you just try to detect the encoding. And if you do this, it will get you the encoding of that particular file. I can do it right now, I think. This is something I can just close, and then maybe right over here, code star. Mm, and we can create a dummy.txt file, and we can have some text over here. And now I will just use dummy.txt, and let me run this file. Uv run test.py, and it says I need to install this particular module. So I will just use inline metadata script. And I will just remove this thing from here, and then
Also, guys, I have sent this particular the script, the inline script which Shivraj is using. I've sent the template of that particular code in the chat menu. You can
So
see
what
the code
happened with
also
this code?
there.
sorry, Daliwood, can you repeat your question?
I mean, what happened with this code? Is it installing like
Yeah, so this UV module, what it tries to do, you have this, you are just trying to import this file, this module, and let us say this module is not present on your system. If I just
yes?
remove it, and now if I run this file, it
Mm.
will say this particular module is not available on your system. And now if I include this metadata script over here, and now if I try to execute this file, then it installs all the dependencies that are mentioned to run this particular script.
Okay.
And by
No.
doing this, we don't have to create virtual environments. It saves us a lot of time.
Okay. 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 And where
So
it
if there,
is like installing this library chardet.
yeah, it installs these libraries. See, when I ran it first time, you can
Mm.
see here it installed one package in 18 milliseconds. Why it didn't install for the second time? Because it already had this package in cache
No,
memory.
I'm asking where is it installing? Like, if
It
we
is installing in cache.
okay in cache. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it is not installing our in our machine actually. Like we do, if we other way also we can write pip install that particular library. It will install in our machine. Okay.
So
Uh,
you can see all these packages over here. I don't actually remember how they are maintaining, but all those packages can be seen here.
and
So if
dot
there is
cache
something,
means like what is called it is not visible, right? Like when we do ls, where is it actually? Dot cache.
if you go to the user directory, and within user directory, if you do LA, then you can see all these uh, hidden
Okay.
files, dot
Hidden,
cache,
hidden
dot
files.
bash rc.
Okay.
So if you go to this particular for folder, and then you have a look at just CSE. And
Okay.
here it have caches of different things. It have cache of pip, it have cache of pipx and TypeScript. And then if you go to UV, then it will have all these things. I don't
Okay.
actually exactly remember how it is storing those things, but it is somewhere over here.
Hmm. Okay. ठीक है. Nice.
Okay, so this code allows you to detect what is encoding for a particular file, and then you can use that particular encoding to open that file. So if I now try to read the file, so and this encoding I can pass over here, and this will get me the content. I can even print the content. And now I think which layer I was in. Mm,
And cache first of all, and then maybe
I was in TDS Jan 2025. Then I was in JSON, and yeah, this is the file. Now I do uv run test.py. It gets me this particular error because this file name should be dummy.txt. And now if I execute it, and it reads it, right? So this is what you can get encoding of a particular file, and then you can uh, open that file with the particular encoding. And if
encoding.
you, yeah, so what happens when you download some CSV file, sometimes it will get some weird characters. That is because you haven't provided the correct encoding. And if you provide the correct encoding, then it will open it as a neat and clean file. I mean, that text will be human readable. All those symbols will get nicely rendered. Okay.
Jivraj,
Yeah, Sharanj.
instead of using with to open the file, I guess we should show them how to use this with pandas as well, because most of the times they will be using pandas for opening CSV files, and there they might face the error of encoding.
Okay, okay, I will download this file
All right.
and I will download it as an CSV file. And now, which machine I'm using? I think I'm using this machine, so I will just copy this and I will paste it to the desired location. And this is where I want to paste it. Now we can delete the identifier and I will rename it as data.csv. So it have these values over here, and then we have data.csv. This is to detect the
What is RB here?
coding.
RB?
Yeah, Dalyod, are you trying to say something?
Yes, yes. What is RB when we open data row CSV? RB as F. What is
Uh, R stands for read, and I think B stands for buffer. I don't remember. Is it buffer?
I guess it is read bitwise. Yes, it is that.
okay, okay, fine.
So
Okay.
basically, this RB will allow the open. Actually, it's an attribute in the open function. So it allows you to actually read this CSV file. Okay. So here we are just trying to detect which kind of encoding this particular file has, and then we will be using pandas to import this data.csv file. All right.
Okay, okay.
And data.csv and encoding should be this particular encoding, and I can save it in some data frame. And just to show, I can print first 5 lines. ef.head of I think 5, and now I just use this. Since pandas is not installed, okay, I will have to put it here. All right, now I can rerun. Now it is trying to install pandas and all the dependencies that pandas requires. For example, if it requires numpy, it will install all those dependencies along with the pandas. So right over here, it identified, wait a second, I think, yeah, this seems correct. So it have, so this particular file have ASCII encoding, and then it reads it as this file. So this code helps to identify the encoding of the file, and then you can just provide encoding over here. And if you do that, then it will, all the symbols will get rendered correctly. So
One thing which you guys might think, Jivraj, can you open that code once?
sure.
So one thing you guys may be wondering about, what is this result, and then there is a list kind of opening, and then we are using this encoding. So what is this? So actually, this is the name of the encoding which we have received from the check. Okay, so you can simply replace this entire thing with ASCII as well. Jivraj, can you do that?
Sure.
You can simply replace this with a string of ASCII. Okay, so at first we just checked which kind of encoding this particular file contains, and then you can simply write the particular coding. Okay, the name of the encoding like this, and when we will run it, it will run as usual. Okay, so if you don't want to use that results part, that's completely fine. You can simply just use it for checking which kind of encoding it has, and then you can, once you have printed out the type of encoding, you can check. You can just simply type it over here. Okay, you can do that way as well, and I guess it makes it much less complex than using that encodings dictionary.
So if I just try to open it in Excel, this file gets opened nicely. It doesn't have any issue. Mm, Why continue for free? Let me try to open the other file. So here you can see all these symbols. I think they are not very much known to us, but they are particular symbols such as uh, these symbols. So we don't have this file doesn't have those symbols because we have just opened it in Excel. But instead of opening it in Excel, if you first identify what is encoding for this particular file, and then if you pass that encoding, then all these characters will get nicely rendered. That is benefit of identifying the character, the encoding of the file.
So if let's say we have an encoding of UTF-16, and then you are opening the file without specifying the specific encoding, so then what it will do is it will just fill, or it won't be able to identify which kind of characters you are actually trying to see. So it will simply give you question marks over there. Okay. So you might think that, okay, these question marks are some kind of symbols, but that's not the case. Those question marks are actually the file not being able to be read properly. Okay, this is what happens. So you should always, for any file, for any CSV file, for any TXT file, always check the encoding at first. Then using that particular encoding, use that in pandas, and it will be, you will be able to work swiftly with that.
Sharansh,
Yeah.
should we do this GitHub question right now or in some other session? Because this is a very long question. It will take a lot of time to explain Git and GitHub and the different ways in which it can be used.
We can do it in another session.
So I
Are
think,
we going to use WSL in this question?
yes, actually what I have done today, I have set up another virtual machine which I will be using for that particular question. What I will be doing, I will be uh, we already have Git installed, but then I will try to clone a repo. It will just clone the repo as usual. Then I will make some changes, and then when I will be trying to push, it will give me some error. Then I will have to configure it. All those things will show end usage of personal access token using command line, and then you can show using how they can do it using VS Code.
Yeah, so actually you can run your bash script using the way which Jivraj is saying. You can, install a new Linux machine. You can create a new Linux machine, and then you can run the bash commands. There is also another simple way which you can do, and which I prefer actually. It is installing a simple extension in VS Code. Okay, so the Jivraj, can you just open the VS Code once?
Sure.
And in the instructions palette, yeah, can you search for WSL? Yeah, so this is the extension of WSL which has been, provided by Microsoft. You simply have to install this particular extension, and then you will be able to use you will be able to use your Linux machine in VS Code itself. So Jivraj, can you just drag up the terminal machine from the very bottom? No,
Y-
from this page itself, you can just like there is a terminal window in this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can use your WSL and VS Code as well using this. Uh, yeah, you can, yeah, like it will just create a WSL, a Linux environment for you, and then you can use WSL using this particular extension. So you can, you should firstly you should learn how Jivraj is going to actually install Linux machine, and then how you can run your system commands on your bash commands on a bash shell. But then when you are actually using it, you can perhaps use it in WSL, or you can use it in a bash shell also. Okay.
But sir, I have done the same thing, but when I open the terminal, it doesn't give me like that particular terminal like in WSL when I installed.
Well, for that you have to create a new terminal, and then you have to select WSL for that. Okay,
That's what
so when you will be creating a new terminal, I guess. Yeah, there is a bash written over there. No. So whenever you are going to create a new terminal, it will ask you which type of terminal you have to create. So whether it can be a PowerShell, it can be Git Bash, command prompt, and Ubuntu
Maybe
WSL as well.
this
Okay.
window you have opened in it
is
is
it?
Let me share the screenshot for that. If I can. Uh, just a second. I will share a screenshot.
this entire VS Code window was like a WSL window, so that is why we were showing it is showing the it is not showing PowerShell and all that option.
Okay.
Otherwise, you get the Ubuntu option, Alexa.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not able to share my uh share photos for that. All right. Uh,
No, sir. Actually, like I have a okay. I'm getting only two options. One is ZSH and one is Bash.
Let me share my screen then. Once. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. So this is my terminal, and how you can open it? Simply drag it up like this, and then from over here
Yes, yes.
you can create a new WSL.
Sir, I am not getting this option. Actually, I am using Mac.
I don't know anything about Mac.
No,
Let me
it's
be
like
honest. I haven't used
like
Mac in my life.
Mac, your default is Bash, na? You do not
default is Bash. I
bother
know.
about it.
I know Bash is there, but there are some command na, that is not working in the like Mac.
Uh, so launch a VM.
So, like, if I may interrupt, what is Bash and like how it is being, like, how does it fit the picture, the whole picture?
Well, Bash allows you to run Linux command, and you can run some Linux command. For instance, the command shasm SHA-256 sum, which we saw in the last live session. So you won't be able to run that in your normal PowerShell window. Okay. So if I run SHA-256 sum over
Probably
here,
should be able to run.
it will give me an error. So, but you can run that in your WSL window. Okay, in a Bash script or in WSL. Okay.
So there is one more topic below that, the Git and the Bash thing.
Yeah, Git requires you to use a bash script for that. So like bash is like it's a universe of uh like it's a universe, and Git is one part of it. Okay,
Oh.
you can understand it that way.
Like Git even runs on PowerShell. Like if you want to
Yeah,
clone
it
the,
even runs on PowerShell, but it runs on PowerShell, but I
you can
haven't
you,
used
you,
Git.
you can do Git the clone thing, no? The command you can run there.
Yeah,
No,
Sharanch.
I
Git
haven't
runs on
used.
PowerShell as well, but some commands like
Okay.
shasham, these things doesn't work in PowerShell.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Of course, I have always used a bash script for running Git commands, but okay, if you guys say so.
Usually Git Bash people use, no? Otherwise,
All right, all right.
Okay. I mean,
Also,
Bash is there.
for GitHub, you can use this. I guess there is an extension for this as well. You can simply use VS Code for this as well. So there is for everything there is an extension in VS Code.
Sharanch,
So yeah.
We can discuss this GitHub thing in some other
Yeah, in
session.
the next
Maybe
session.
you
Yeah,
can
we'll
move
do
to question 14, which have some usage of bash. You can run some commands that that requires you to use bash.
All right. So, Jivraj, are we doing the question right now, or are we postponing it to the next live session? Because it's time.
Actually, what we can do right now, maybe we can cover rest of the questions. Just leave GitHub one.
All right, if you say so, we can do that. Because the problem is it's like it's time and only 9 people are here, excluding us 7. So, if you think that we should cover those questions, we can go ahead.
How much time do you think it will take to cover those questions?
How many questions are left?
14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. 5 questions.
5 questions. So the 18th question, it requires SQL and it will take a bit of time. And I remember that question only. That's why I'm talking about that question. So 18th question will take time, and I guess the other questions will also take some time. So
All
what do you
right.
say? Given the time has, also the 17th question is comparing files. Again, it will require GitHub, as we
Yeah.
discussed earlier. Then there is move and rename. It will require bash script. All right. uh, so I guess we should take all these questions in the next one. Pretty much no time we should, because only, all right, we only have 6 people with us right now. Did
Okay,
Shiva
okay,
just
okay,
left?
okay. Then we'll do it in the next session.
Yeah.
It
All
won't
right,
stretch the
guys.
session.
Yeah.
Sir, are you solving the graded assignment questions?
No, we are not solving questions. We are just giving directions to solve questions.
Okay.
Yeah, because then that would be a felony to
Okay.
solve questions in front of you.
Uh, okay. No, there are no practice questions like which I could.
Sharansh,
Yeah,
wait a second. I
yeah.
will just turn off the recording, then we can have unofficial talks.
Okay.
All right.